I'm trying to speak about my work, and the gentleman is keeping on asking me, so what is it about your family, about your personal, about your, I mean, like me as a person. And I felt that, man, this guy is really, I mean, wants to really know me as a person and is trying to, help me grow from there. And that really stayed with me. And I think that was really the defining moment of our relationship, that this is not just any other relationship.
I'd like to introduce, for those of you who don't know her, Suvalaxmi Chakraborty, or as she is fondly called by everyone, Suva. Suva is a very senior banking and finance professional. She has had an amazing career in the corporate sector as an independent consultant, and now she is back to being the founder and CEO of a very interesting financial services organization. And my relationship with Suva goes back to about 15 years ago. In fact, after we moved back to India, Suva was among 3 very talented and very well-known leaders in the banking industry that I was invited to coach. And out of those 3, Suva's and my relationship has continued for these 15 years in so many different ways. And I have seen her grow and struggle and mature as a person. And so I'm very, very happy to have her join this conversation. So Suva, welcome.
I'd like to first start with recounting our first meeting. The very first meet. If you remember, I was general manager in ICICI Bank as the country head of rural micro banking and agribusiness in those days. And I was told that I'm going to have a coach, like a personal coach who will help me, and that's it. I mean, nothing much more was told to me. So I very much expected. So when the day arrived, so that someone suited with perfect formal ties and cufflinks, somebody's really come to kind of, take me to the, I mean, what should be the next strategy, what should be the next growth plans, and how can I really build a fantastic team and, motivation and this and that. So I came with that idea. And I entered and I saw this gentleman in his churidar and kurta, and very informal attitude, but with a very warm and broad smile. And thereafter spent the whole time with me just to understand me personally, which I had never ever faced till that time in any of my organizational training. I mean, and that I think has shaped my the relationship as it evolved over the years.
As you know, I'm a firm believer in the idea that the leader you are is the person you are, and that you can't be an effective leader if you're not an effective and self-aware person. And so really my natural curiosity to discover who you are and help you to discover who you are is at the foundation of all growth and transformation.
The second one, which I would like to recount, is that this was way back, I think somewhere in when 2013, I would say 2013, when my contract as the CEO of State Bank of Mauritius ended. And I was, I mean, there was a feeling of, I mean, I have been all along being, having very powerful positions, very top positions in banks, and, I mean, managing large teams, large businesses, and all from there, it just felt like that I have nothing, in the sense that there was a complete loss of identity. I mean, it was a real loss of identity for me at that point in time. I requested for a meeting with you, and so we met up in one of the hotels in the coffee shop, and I still recount those days. I mean, that specific meeting. And I thought that, okay, now Vijay, knowing me for so long, will be saying that, oh yeah, I'm so sorry to hear this, and kind of sympathize or trying to strategize as to what next, etc. Instead of that, what he told me is, I think this is the best thing to happen. I said, what? He said, yeah, I mean, and it should in fact continue for as long time as it may. I mean, there's nothing that it has to immediately in 2 months time I have to get into something, or a 3 months time. I mean, there is no target. So in fact, I mean, the more I kind of stay with this period, the more I will kind of the bounty would be more in the future. And he gave this analogy that the farmers after a harvest keeps the land fallow for a long time, for some time, so that the ground or the soil recuperates itself, and kind of all energies and all nutrients and everything goes into it, and then the next harvest would be even bigger and better, instead of doing back-to-back harvesting. And that has helped me, as as we have moved along from that day to where I am today. Yeah.
So this comes out of my personal experience, Suva. I think I've told you that I've learned this the hard way. And after my cancer, because I wanted to re-establish my identity and go back to an old sense of normalcy, I went back to work too early. And I had not fully adjusted to my new reality. And so since then, I've realized, and I've advised so many of my clients, whether it is through illness or whether it is through any other kind of life transition, that life transitions have a purpose, and you've got to give it enough time for that organic process to really take shape and take root. Again, the first memories from our very old days when we first started meeting each other in our coaching relationship. And from that day, I have been struck by the clarity of your vision for yourself and for what the financial system in this country really needs. Which is, you have always felt that the upper part of the pyramid, our socioeconomic pyramid, is well serviced and well looked after. And even the bottom part of the pyramid, the really poor, are to some extent being looked after by the government's programs and this, that, and the other. But you've always felt that there is a segment in the middle, which is the bulk of the agribusiness or the traders in the second, third, fourth tier towns, potentially in the rural towns, who are neither here nor there, and they are kind of ignored and neglected. And you have always felt very strongly that you want to do something about it. Whether it means giving them credit, whether it means connecting them with other resources, etc. And for me, that has been a very inspiring vision that I still remember. I know you still carry that vision. We have talked about it multiple times. And that is something that I remember and admire about you.
I wouldn't just say that's the relationship, but also the way I see you as a person. I see you.
Okay.
So the first word which comes to my mind is spiritual. And that's the defining word, because I have always felt that our coaching, the mentoring, whatever discussions we have had just not been just a regular training, And also, I mean, in many of our discussions, it is more, how as a person, I'm evolving spiritually through my, worldly endeavors. Let me put it that way. In my spiritual development, you have been one of the important kind of contributors.
Thank you.
The second I would like to say is trust. So I have always found you to be one that, I would not have any second thoughts in terms of trusting. If I have to confide, if I have to discuss something, even, very confidentially, or whichever, in different manners, I know that I can trust you, and you will always carry that for me. Third, I would say, is resourceful. I've always found you resourceful. The fourth word I would like to say is a fresh perspective. I would always like to sound out to you as a sounding board, because I know that from whichever direction I come, or from whichever issue or problem or challenge or anything I want to share, I will always get a fresh perspective. So that makes it very rich, the conversation very rich, because it's not an ordinary repetitive kind of a conversation. It's not that something that I have heard, known. Whenever I have talked, a third angle has come, a fourth angle has come, which I have not seen it. And then it's, oh, yes, one can see it in this way also. So these are the kind of words I would like to mention.
Beautiful. Thank you. I'm very flattered.
So my blessing would be for you to fulfill your dreams of contribution to the global health in your journey of, the cancer thrivers, and be absolutely fulfilled yourself, so that where you feel a deep sense of accomplishment, a deep sense of fulfillment, where the self gets absolutely fulfilled.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.